Hi, and welcome to Once Upon a Nightmare. I'm your host, Amy Metcalf.
And I'm your host, Ashley Dory, and welcome to today's nightmare.
So tonight we will be discussing, basically ourselves. We're just gonna introduce ourselves to you and kind of to each other. Like, we do know each other fairly well. It's just when it comes to the spooky side, we don't always open ourselves up to it because not as many people like it as much as we do.
Yeah.
So just
That's
sit
the
back
truth. Grab your snacks.
and let's get started.
Oh.
It feels so awkward trying to do the intro. It's going to come to us eventually.
It'll get
I don't know.
better.
Yeah. For those who are watching, like, you'll see our eyes kind of like dart. It's because we're looking at our notes.
We have scripts.
Yes. We do. But eventually I feel like we'll remember it and all that stuff. And fingers crossed that this goes through tonight, because we have been trying this for like 3 days, two days. It feels like longer. But we have been trying this for so long. We keep having technical issues. We filmed this last night, actually, and
it didn't save.
It didn't save. An hour's worth of filming.
An hour's worth of footage just
gone. So we're sure we figured it out. Fingers crossed, everybody. But yeah, so we'll be filming this. We'll be uploading this to YouTube as well as Buzzsprout for now. I have applied to Apple, and then I'm going to apply to Spotify. So fingers crossed we get onto there too, and then you guys can listen to us there. But so we're going to introduce ourselves. Why don't you tell us about you, Ashley? Like, what makes Ashley Ashley?
Me? Well, where do I start? I am 33. I am a mom of 2 wonderful little girls. They are gorgeous and beautiful and fantastic in every single way, and the light of my lives. And I am going to be married very, very soon. Yeah, and like I've always wanted to be able to sit down and have conversations with people openly about spooky things and things that make you think, and things that can't be explained away right away. And it's nice to be able to have a platform where we can garner the attention of other like-minded individuals who hopefully enjoy listening to what we have to say and watching our videos, and that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And what about you?
I've been dying to do a podcast for like ever. Now, if we want to talk about myself, that's a loaded question. We'll be here a while, but let's see. I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm kidding. Not that kind of video, is it? I'm 32. Well, I will be 33. We're both 88 babies, and I was born in October, which is probably why I like spooky stuff, because hello, spooky season.
Every season is spooky season.
Right? I do live in Montreal with my boyfriend and our 2 dogs and our 2 bunnies, and we're hopefully one day gonna make our way out towards you in Nova Scotia. So hopefully one day we'll be able to do this in person, and it'll be so much easier.
So much easier.
Right? So, but yeah, that's basically it. But like I've always wanted to do a podcast. Like, I feel like I have a voice for radio. And this is my way of getting, because like I never had wanted to do stuff like that, like radio or whatever it is. So I know, like, I could have gone to school for journalism to get into stuff like that. And but things change. So I guess this is my way.
Shoot your shot. You gotta shoot your shot.
My shot. Hopefully we'll do well.
Fingers freaking crossed.
Exactly. And if you guys like us a lot and we gain some things, I'm hoping that we can even start making merch, and that would be so freaking awesome. I've always wanted to have my own merch line.
We've got ideas, so please.
Exactly.
Really cool ideas.
That's exactly it. And you can support us by watching and liking and doing
Sharing.
and sharing. Share.
Sit down, plan a spooky night one of these weekends with your friends, and just
Yeah.
sit down and we'll plan a very spooky storytelling between myself and Amy of some subjects, and we'll have some scary conversations back and forth, and maybe get your friends addicted a little bit. Who
Ah.
knows?
I think we're kind of funny too. So like if you
Yeah.
don't like spooky things too much, like sometimes it won't be super scary, I hope.
Well, we're
That you can
jokesters too. I mean, in case you couldn't tell by what I just said, we're jokesters. But I think, yeah, I think we'll have some really cool stuff coming up ahead. Me and Amy got some subjects that we really, 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 really want to touch on. We've got notes. Oh, there's notes. There's so many notes.
Oh yeah. And so you'll probably see us glancing off camera a lot to look at these notes just so that we know where we are. Yeah. We don't want to repeat things. So or mess up.
Definitely do not want to mess up. That is
I don't need people coming at me for my facts.
Don't at me.
Don't at me. But yeah. So I have a question. So when you were younger, what was like one of your most favorite scary movies? And one that was your favorite and one that like gave you the most nightmares.
Okay. So it's going to sound ridiculous, but my favorite scary movie from when I was a kid was Leprechaun. Don't know why. It was like the most ridiculous thing, but it was the best. Like it stuck with me. It made an impression. It's the dumbest movie. It makes no sense. Why is there a little leprechaun biting off of a guy's finger for gold?
It's why I don't like gnomes.
But it stuck with me, and I think it was maybe because it was like one of my mom and mine's first scary movie together, so it holds a place in my heart. As for the movie that terrified me the most as a child, that would be The Exorcist. In a heartbeat, we got to the scene where she's laying in the bed and she's like convulsing, but the bed's also shaking and like rocking up and down.
Yeah.
And I screamed at my mom to shut the movie off because I couldn't do it. Could not do it. And so she shut it off. And for like months after I watched that movie, I would have nightmares and it would feel like my bed was shaking on me. Like it's psychologically screwed with me.
Oh no.
It was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. For me, for the nightmare one, was Anaconda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big snakes. Like, I don't know. I'm not terrified of snakes. Maybe, I don't know. I don't go out of my way to go near any. So, and then I would have nightmares of the anaconda just eating my cat. And I'm like, you know what?
I'd rather you not.
Although I think it also has a little bit to do with like when I was younger, I had another cat. This is a different cat, but I was like super young. I was like 4-ish. And this cat liked to bring in creatures from outside. And it brought in a worm like this big.
Oh my gosh.
Big. And my mom's like, here's a paper towel. Go pick it up. I'm like, okay, you know what? It's dead. I'll be fine. I go near it and it starts moving. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm out. So I think it's because snakes remind me of worms and worms kind of terrify me too. So, and then
where's their face?
Like, listen, if it's got 4 hearts and can still be alive after being severed in half, it's kind of scary.
Regrowth.
Yeah, it's creepy. But for my favorite movie, I used to love Children of the Corn. It's so weird. I know it's so weird, but creepy children.
God,
Maybe why
I hope you have a little child that has super, super blonde hair and blue eyes.
it probably will, because I was super blonde, Joshua was super blonde, and we both have blue eyes. So
There
it's
you
going to
go.
happen. And with my luck, I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night when the kid is like 4 or 5, and it's just going to be standing at my doorway staring at me. So
Oh, they don't stand in the doorway, my love. No, 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 no. They come right up to your face
listen.
and they just stare at you.
It'll be creepier if they're at the doorway.
Nothing creepier than opening your eyes to a face this close to you. It's terrifying. Coffee? Coffee's life. What about what about you? Do you have any personal scary stories
I do.
that happened to you?
I have a lot. Now, okay, so mine didn't start until like later in life, because like usually like when they say that you experience stuff like this, you're usually younger.
Yeah.
And if it continues with you, like if it's like your sensitivity to things, it will continue with you, or you grow out of it or whatever. But I think it was because I, like with my trauma and like losing my mom at 11, I gained empathy. And when you have empathy, it opens you up to all kinds of things.
Mhm.
So one time, this was when I was in college, and I went with my friend to go pick up her brother in the city. This was when I was in Ontario, and we're driving back on a dark country road, no lights. You can barely see like 10 feet in front of you. And there's this guy walking in the middle of the road. Now I'm in the passenger seat, my friend is driving, and her brother is behind her. And he's just walking in the middle of the road, and I'm so confused. I'm like, one, super dark out, so unsafe for you to be walking in the middle of the road. Two, why are you not reacting to the fact that you can
Who
see?
doesn't see the person in the middle of the road?
Yeah. So, and my friend also didn't like kind of move, because like, you know, when somebody's like on the side of the road, you kind of go around them just to be safe, you know, in case they
Yeah.
fall. And she didn't do that either. So like, as we passed him, I'm like, why is that guy walking so like close to the middle of the road? Like we could have almost hit him. And both my friend and her brother were like, what guy? I was like, ew. Okay. I'm like,
You didn't
nope,
see him?
nope. And like you could only see his back, because like he's walking the same way we're going. So like I didn't see his face or anything.
No, I don't like that.
Oh, it's so creepy. And that was the only time I've ever actually seen like full figure ghost, you know?
Mm.
Then I worked at a couple of group homes. It was the same group home on the same street, just we had two different houses, one for older girls and one for younger girls. And then, but I think that it was the whole street, because like when I was younger, my friend lived on that street, and not far from one of the group homes house, and even we had a experience there. So I'll tell that one quickly. um, so basically, we were home alone. We were going to watch 13 Ghosts, but we never did. So her mom believed that this is why we thought it was just excuses. Anyways,
Yeah.
we were sitting at the table playing cards. We hear footsteps upstairs, and they did have a dog. So we thought it was the dog. We called the dog. The dog comes out from 5 feet away from us behind the couch, and we're like, oh my God. We look at each other. The second we look at each other, the kitchen tap turns on full blast. And we're like, nope. We like closed the back door, grabbed the dog, and waited in the garage until her mom and grandma got home. And they're like, oh, it's just the plumbing. You guys are just scared because you watched 13 Ghosts. And we're like, we didn't watch 13 Ghosts. And there's no way that the plumbing could make the freaking tap turn on full blast the way it did. Like,
no. Last time I checked, that's not how taps work. They don't just magically turn on all by themselves.
Now, I get it if it was like a little trickle, like maybe that was a little bit of pressure, whatever. But no, not after we heard footsteps
Not to
upstairs.
fully like go. Nope.
No, 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 no.
I wish that I could say I've never seen a ghost. I wish I could say that. I wish I could say that it's only been like one time.
Mhm.
It's been so many times. Like it's kind of like followed me my entire life. I've got a couple objects that I think are haunted, which I've had my whole life. I have a doll, a little boy doll that I got from my grandma, and she had him, and ever since I was a kid, like just creep factor to the max. Like he gives off those spoopy vibes.
He
um,
looks creepy. You shown
he
me. And you
I had
did
to put
that
a
aura
crystal.
thing on him. You did that aura thing on him too.
Yeah. And like it doesn't show up for every doll. And I made sure like if it had a face, I was like, oh, let me check you, let me check you. And
Yeah.
it wasn't picking up. But on this little itty bitty baby doll, that this little porcelain doll, that it picks up, and that thing just mm. But the first time I ever actually physically saw um a spirit, I was like 5 or 6. Um and it only happened at night when I was in my room, and it happened every night for a few months, like repeatedly. This
Mhm.
lady would show up in my room. This older woman would just show up in my room, just walk in, sit herself down on the side of my bed, and she would sit there and knit, and she would just watch me, and it would terrify me because this woman just walked into my room, sat on my bed, and I would lay there with the blankets like pulled up over my face, and
Yeah.
or I would like run like scoop off the end of the bed and into my parents' room because mom, there's a freaking lady in my room. And mom would be like, Ashley, there's nobody there. And I'm like, I swear there was a lady. Um, so that goes on for a few months, and we're sitting in the living room one day, and mom was flipping through a photo album, just looking at pictures. And she flipped to this page, and I pointed to this picture of this older woman. I was like, Mom, that's the lady that comes to visit me. And my mom's like, huh? I was like, that's the lady, mommy. That's the lady that visits me. And it was a picture of my dad's grandmother who died before
Aww.
I was even born, right? Like she would have no idea who I was, but my father was her favorite grandchild. So I think
Aww.
she was just coming to check up, but that's when you're little, that's not what you're prepared for.
It's like, okay, I get it. Knit outside the room.
Thanks for coming. Please see yourself out. But my most recent one, I'm sitting here at the computer like I am now. And if I look off to my right, it's an opening to my living room, and it's clear through, right? So I can see
Yeah.
right in there, the lights on. And I was sitting here just doing some stuff on the computer one night, and just from the corner of my eye, I happened to see somebody with long hair
Mhm.
coming towards me. So I looked, and there was nobody there. And then I leaned and looked, still nobody there. I go down to check on my kids. They're both in bed. And I'm like, I know for a fact that I saw somebody coming at me.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can attest to, just before we started this podcast, my camera went completely out of focus. And
Yes.
usually, if you put your hands up to your face, block off everything else, it refocuses on you and you're good to go. It wasn't working.
Until I said, you are not welcome. Please leave. And then suddenly it cleared up.
Yeah, just
So yeah, because we needed to film. Like,
got stuff to
all the
do
rest of
respectfully.
we're not filming.
But yeah, so spooky stuff kind of happens to me daily.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I've learned as I've grown to deal with it, and I got my ways of doing things. I've got my ways of keeping spirits in line in my home and in
Mm.
my life, because they will literally just show up out of freaking nowhere. So
Yeah. No, exactly. Now, do your kids see anything? Like, does your youngest?
hmm, there was some stuff that was happening in the house. So Lila is
Mhm.
very in tune with spirits. As a baby, so my mom passed away just before Lila was a year old. Um, and after my mom passed away, Lila would be down in her room, and I would hear her just like babbling, like talking to somebody. And then I would hear a woman over my baby monitor, and I would go down and nobody would be there. And I'm like, I hear a lady. Now, my aunt, who was in Ontario, went to a psychic medium
Mhm.
who I've never met, because I'm not in Ontario. I'm down in Nova Scotia. Uh, and this medium told her, she's like, she comes over the baby monitor. She's like, she's like, your niece is hearing her mom talk over the baby monitor. And
Aw.
here, because like, how the hell would this lady who's in
Yeah.
Ontario have any idea that I, in Nova Scotia, was hearing a woman talk to my daughter over a baby monitor? How?
Yeah. It,
How?
it was your mom letting her know, like, hey, I
It's
know it's
me.
out, but let her know it's just me and to stop worrying.
Yeah. Like, and then, so the day that my mom passed away, my cousin had my daughter outside of the hospital room, because obviously she couldn't be in there. She was very, 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 very young.
Yeah.
Um, and at the time that my mom passed, my cousin was looking in the hospital out at the garden with my daughter in her arms,
Mm.
and Lila put her hand up against the glass and went nan nan.
Oh.
So I think mom passed away and went and saw Lila. That's what I
Aw.
want to believe anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's seen stuff. Shar's, she, I think she gets scared more
So,
about the stuff, so she tries not to think about it.
so she ignores it. And yeah, I get that. Like it can be really, really scary for younger
Kids.
kids and
Yeah.
teenagers, and especially when they're going through like so much. And when we filmed them last night, we were talking about this as well. Like they're so intuitive, especially when they're going through a lot. And I noticed this when I worked in the group homes, that some who had a little more like problems or whatever, like they tended to notice it a lot. And like sometimes you're like, is it for attention or is it like actually really happening? But then when you hear stories about it happening to other people, like there was this one room in one of the houses,
Yeah.
and any kid that was in there said something about either like a ghost or the devil, which is even scarier.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've experienced, I wasn't at that house much at night, so I didn't experience as much there. I was the other house that I experienced it. But what I had friends, like I talked to the other night staff, and one of them was like, when she was on a home visit, she could hear like the tennis ball or something that she had in her room being rolled back and forth.
Nope.
Right? And
Mm-mm.
it's like, nope. And like they were all at Wonderland, and I had to do a double night shift with the one that said that about the
That's a
ball.
big
Like my,
old fucking bag of nope for me.
right? And like we're sitting in the car and we're looking at the window of that room, and you just see something like flash on and then flash off. And like we were watching it until they got there, because we couldn't get into the house. We didn't have keys, and they were all in Wonderland. They were late. So by the time we got to the house, My coworker runs right upstairs. She's like, nothing. There's nothing, Amy. And I'm like, I'm like, can I go home now?
no, thank you.
I'm
That is
over
a whole lot of no, not gonna fucking happen tonight, boys. No.
So like from that point on, I was like, okay, maybe she's really not going for it, because she was very big for attention seeking. But then when we're seeing it and we're hearing things like that, and then there's other kids who are in that room and experiencing the same thing, it's like maybe something's actually there. But how do you tell your boss and your supervisors that without them being like, girl,
You're
cray,
insane.
you're cray cray? Like, it's like, you need Jesus. And I'm like, listen, Jesus ain't gonna help.
Jesus is not going to save us from the situation. There's a damn ghost in that room. We need
or a demon. Like, so because like there was one night that she screamed and we ran up and she was on the floor after being in her bed, and she's like, something grabbed my foot and pulled me off the bed. So like, and my supervisor was there. Like usually I was like one of the head staff, but when my supervisors are there, I don't have control over what happens. And she's like, nope, you're just blah blah blah, get back into bed, I've had enough of this. Like, I'm like, listen, that's a little much. Like, I don't know how you fake that, but I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I worked at this home for mentally unstable. Well, I worked at a couple of them, and there was a bigger one that used to be an insane asylum, which was very, very spooky at night. The other one, however, it was just like a home, a house with like a little bit of a bigger house, obviously, because lots of people live there. Older home.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to do back shifts there. And there is an apartment at the very, very top of this home for the mentally unstable people. And there would be nights where you would like hear bangs and you would go up and look and everybody would be in bed. So it's like, where'd that come from? And then we went up. So I didn't know that there was an apartment up there. The girls that were working there let me know one night, and I was like, there's an apartment up there. And I was like, how do we get there? Because I want in on this. I want to see this apartment. So we had to find a key. Oh, there we go. We're going blurry again. There we go. So we had to find a key for the apartment. So we scoured all of the keys till I found it. We found the key. So we go on up. And while we're up there, it's just the vibes are just off the whole time. It just feels like heavy up there almost.
Mm-hmm.
I got real creeped out. It was my environment. Like I felt at home because I was creeped out, but
yeah,
it was a lot. Like it was just
overwhelming.
Yeah. So we left, and to get to the apartment, you had to go through a resident's room, which was even more concerning.
Like, why?
There was an outside door to get to the apartment too, but like knowing that there's a door just downstairs. But so there were tons of spooky sounds that would come out of there consistently. Yeah. I have friends that'll message me and be like, girl, there was just a bang and we can't figure out why. It's like, good for you. You can keep it.
Speaking of asylums, so when I was in college, I had to do a couple courses in the Lakeshore campus of Humber.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, Lakeshore campus was these old cottages. Like it has a newer building now that they built, but they were held in these cottages. And the cottages, used to be an insane asylum. And they're all lettered, they're separate. And I think there's tunnels underneath that kind of connect them all, because obviously the sketchy part of asylums, you know,
the underground tunnels.
And yeah, exactly. So one of my classes was in J building. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just moving, and I don't know why.
I saw it moving earlier, but I was like, could it be the wind? And I'm like, wait a
There's
second.
no window open behind me at all. Nothing. No
I
window.
saw it moving earlier.
There's
I
no
didn't want
windows open in my house, Amy. It's moving, Amy.
I
I'm
know I
not
saw it moving
I'm
earlier.
not
I didn't
touching
see
it. I'm not touching it. I'm not even
yeah,
near it right now, guys. If you
it's
could,
not moving more, but it was.
it's
I didn't
still
see it.
moving. It's still moving.
Where?
It's going back
Sorry.
and forth. It's like breathing.
It was moving a lot more than
Look,
that.
oh my God, it's still going. Please look. Oh my God, it's still moving.
It's hard to see right now. Before it was moving a lot. Like when you watch this back, like
My
so
heart is beating.
for people who are listening to the audio version, if you
I'm
want to
sorry.
check it out, go to our YouTube. We'll have it linked in the description. Stop focusing on it. Ignore it. It moved a lot more.
Oh gosh, okay. Whew.
So I was in J Building. Now J Building held the criminally insane.
Yeah.
Now, while I'm in class, so my class is like here, and then there's an elevator like diagonally, and then stairs on the other side. But like the elevator would open and close consistently. Now, if it was just the one day or maybe like a couple weeks, because electrical,
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was every single time I was there. And it was like a good like month or so that I had this course. And so one time I was also waiting to speak with my professor, and I'm waiting outside the door. It's not opening and closing like on the main floor, but then I hear it opening and closing on the floor upstairs. So I look up and I see the lights flickering, as well as like hearing the opening and closing of the door. So I go up slowly, and by the time I got to the top, the elevator stopped opening and the lights stopped flickering, and I waited there for a good 2 minutes. Nothing happened. So I go downstairs. The second I get downstairs, ignore it.
Why is it moving? Oh my God.
Maybe it's a little boy playing with it.
This is genuine fear right now, like being caught on camera. Because I am trying to think so hard because there's no window open in there to make it blow this way. There's a door behind. There's a door behind it. And the window in the door is not open. And the window over here is shut. Like all the windows are closed because I had the air conditioning on. And I just shut that off before we started filming. Oh my God.
Tell it's not. You're not welcome here right now. Go home. Well, you are home.
I am home. It might be home too. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
I would just like to be as far away from that as humanly possible right now. So continue. The elevator and the lights flickered.
Yeah. So by the time I got down to the main floor again, it started flickering and the door kept opening and closing. So I was like, all right. But the funny thing is nobody ever commented on it. Nobody ever said anything, like not even outside the building, like, hey, did you notice the elevator?
What's going on with the elevator? Why does it keep opening and closing like that, guys?
Yet me with, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, sitting there like, oh, shiny. Like, like can't keep my eyes off of you.
I'm sorry. That's just, I'm gonna have to sage my house after this.
Yeah. It probably wants to be the center of attention since we're talking about ghost stories.
Right. It's like, I'm here. You want me.
You're talking to me. I heard you bring my name up. Well, maybe not name.
It's so weird because it just starts and stops like randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, who is your favorite horror movie icon?
I would have to say Carrie. Cause like, okay, so I never had the neglected part except for maybe when I was, I don't know. I
Homeless.
never had the neglected part, but like when I being in high school and being like an outcast kind of like I wasn't too much of an outcast, but enough that I felt awkward around people. Like
Yeah.
I was good with the fashion thing, especially when you're like overweight as a teen. Like it's hard. And like I didn't know how to control this. And it's like because like I have naturally curly hair, and
Mhm.
if I didn't gel it down to like rock solid, I could not, you know, like it was gross. It was so gross.
Yeah.
But
It was
I
a lot of
totally
gel.
she felt, you know what I mean, like being ostracized in some aspects of life, and she did like nobody understood her, and um so yeah, I feel Carrie. I feel her.
You
I
still
got
give me Jason Voorhees vibes.
you.
Slow and methodical.
Yeah, so methodical, quiet, loves the water.
Right. Just likes to be up at the lake,
Yeah.
spend a little time there. Please don't right now. We're going to focus on me. We're focusing on me now, not the ghost, me, the person in front. We're just going to have to go with it.
For people who are just listening to the audio, her camera just went really blurry.
I
It
cannot make this crap up. Like, I can't make this crap up.
no, it's really creepy. Like obviously not as much on my end because I'm all the way over here. I'm safe. Yeah. No.
Should
No.
be focused on me, but oh, see, I
Oh,
took
there
its
we
spot. I took its spot.
go.
It can't be the doll. No freaking way.
Oh, oh, maybe.
But now it's not focused on her. I don't know. I don't know. We're
It
just
is
gonna
what.
continue with it, I guess. This is how it's going. This is the first podcast. Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
I'm haunted.
It went a lot smoother on our other video that didn't say.
There was a lot
Maybe
less breathing material behind me. There was a lot less blurriness. There was a lot less, ghost activity last
it
night.
was so smooth. It was so smooth. I guarantee Ghost deleted it.
Probably.
Probably want it to be.
It
It
was
wants
just
to be.
like, I need to be the center of attention. Watch me breathe, please.
Let's make this a throuple.
It's just, it is what it is.
Starting to feel like a third wheel over here. You and Ghosty.
Just me and Ghosty here. But yeah,
So
if you
who
guys
is
want to see what we're talking about, the
our
video
YouTube?
is going to be
Yeah,
uploaded.
yeah. Our YouTube will be linked in the audio description and any spot that we can put it, or you can check our Facebook page. By the
You can
way,
check our Facebook page too.
yeah, and we do have an Instagram which I try to post to as much as possible, but it's hard.
It is hard. It's a lot to keep up with. We promise we will get better as we go. It's just going to take a little bit for us to get this whole thing absolutely perfected for you guys.
So, who is your icon? Horror icon?
My horror icon, definitely Freddy Krueger. I love me some Freddy.
Just want to haunt people's nightmares.
The idea of having that kind of control over someone that you could make them not sleep. Like a pretty
Fair.
vital thing that somebody needs is sleep, right?
Yeah.
You have that much control over them that you can control when they sleep.
I can see you wanting to torture people.
There's a little Jeffrey Dahmer people nommer inside of me, maybe. Not the actual act. Oh my God.
Oh gosh. Do we need to put you on a list?
I have no interest in knowing what people taste like. I'm good.
Yeah, no.
I'm not curious about that. Just a little bit of torturing, just a little bit.
Bend you to my will.
A little bit of maiming, a little bit of you'll do this or this is gonna happen.
She's gonna get the claws too.
You know, just a little tickle. Oh my goodness. Well, I think we're getting close to the end of this episode. I would say it's been a pretty productive episode.
A little too productive
For spooky things.
We don't need guests right now. It's a little too soon for guests.
Right? Let's just hold off. We'll invite you in when we're ready. So just
maybe.
For now, you just
Ooh.
Breathe over there. Not like that. Well, you guys, that is the end of this episode. If you have any suggestions, you can email us at onceuponanightmarepodcast@gmail.com. We're also going to have it linked in the description.
Exactly. And you can also visit our Facebook page, like we mentioned. We are going to try and post polls like once a week or whatever, if we can, to kind of get suggestions for episodes if we have no idea what we want to do. And also, if you would like to donate, it doesn't have to be a lot. Like, it just helps us to better our podcast, like get better equipment or whatever we do need, kind of make it better, because we do want to make really good videos and podcasts and whatever it is. And you will have our PayPal linked in the description as well for both the YouTube and the audio podcast. So
don't forget to sorry. I cut you off.
Want to donate, that's not to be
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us, as it helps us to make better videos and better content for you guys.
And we will see you next week with a new nightmare. All right.
Bye.